From the deep, dark hollows of Knott County, Kentucky, where the moonshine is strong, the stories are strange, and your neighbor's probably your cousin. This is Appalachia, not so quiet. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Appalachia Not So Quiet. I am your host, Hillbilly Phantom, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host,
Appalachian Shade.
How are you feeling today, Shade?
Better.
Better?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're happy because it's no longer Halloween month.
Right.
And you get to start doing Christmas things.
Exactly. I'm so excited.
And just like every year before it, I'm going to fight you until Thanksgiving.
I don't know why you're such a downer on Christmas. There's Christmas Ghost.
I know, but I'm not a Scrooge, okay? Christmas is December. We've got almost 2 months. Let the turkey have its day.
It does. It does have its day.
Yeah, but you want to take every other day around it and make it Christmas.
It still has its day. Okay. But yeah, Christmas is during Thanksgiving. Like my family always decorated Thanksgiving for Christmas and all that. So
Well,
you gotta do it while it's warm.
it's not warm.
Especially if you have one of these extravagant displays. You've got to start like October decorating.
Well, we don't have to be like National Lampoon Christmas Vacation.
Well, my grandparents always was. And that's the way I want to be.
Oh, God.
But the power company kind of keeps me at bay.
Don't want to pay that big power bill.
No.
For lighting up entire street corner with Christmas decorations. My point is, there's just no reason to go from Halloween straight into Christmas. We can take a little bit of time off.
Mm-hmm. You can.
That's all I'm saying.
I'll be busy decorating while you take some time off.
Okay. Well, the fight continues.
You can help me take down the Halloween decorations, and then take a. And actually, this year you're complaining when I try to put the Halloween decorations up in September.
Well, yeah, you got to wait for October to put up Halloween.
It's fall.
See, I followed the rules.
I'll start September the 21st. So therefore, you can decorate for Halloween.
Well, no. I'm just saying every holiday has its own month or whatever. Just
as it should.
Just leave it there.
If you'll notice the grocery stores and the like Walmart and stuff, heck, they probably already got Valentine's stuff out. They just rush everything.
I know it's getting ridiculous.
But I don't really see, because once October 31st gets here, like Halloween stuff, that to me is the holidays, because you got October, November, December, and January, the holidays.
So that's all the holidays,
right,
for you. Okay. Mm-hmm. See, to me, the holidays begin with Thanksgiving.
But kind of like in November the 1st, you can kind of combine Christmas and Thanksgiving. It's family time, both of them.
It's not right.
You're just a Grinch.
I'm not a Grinch. However you feel, whatever you might say, it does seem that the holidays are upon us, and we have reached the end of Spooky Month. We're going to close out Spooky Month, even though we're about a day late. We're going to close out Spooky Month with some spooky tales. And our stories come from a listener, actually, who contacted Shade and kind of got us interested in this certain area of Tennessee. And so I've got a little story from that area. And then Shade has the story of the listener that originally sent us this message. So
yeah, with photos.
Yeah, evidence and everything. So it's pretty cool. You're going to want to stick around for that story.
But she's a local Knott County lady. So.
Yeah. This is somebody local, but they spend some time, but they visit that area from time to time. My story originates in what's known as Sharps Chapel, Tennessee. It's actually apparently this small little town community. It's in Union County, and it's kind of cool. Its location. It's kind of on a little peninsula out into Norris Lake. So the area has a rich history, and I don't know how many people may or may not know this. Norris Lake is a man-made lake. Built a dam and flooded that whole area to make the lake. I'm pretty sure there's a power plant on that lake too, that dam that produces electricity. Sharp's Chapel, the area is filled with the old houses of early settlers. One of the most famous ones is the house built in 1835 by Jacob Sharp. I'm guessing Sharp is, that's where the name of the place came from.
I'm
Sharp's
thinking
Chapel.
Sharpie markers.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think these are the Sharpie marker people. So later on, this house, it became known as the Owsley House.
Okay.
Now, this house is probably the oldest in the area, I think. So, a Revolutionary War soldier, this Jacob Sharp, he was given like 700 acres of land
Wow.
there when his service in the Revolutionary War was over. Now, over the years and, his lineage, his children and grandchildren, blah, 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 it all got broken up. Some of it got sold here and there. Finally, in 1835, I think I already said that, this house was built by another Jacob Sharp, which is like, the great great grandchild of this original Jacob Sharp that was given the land. There's also a pioneer cemetery, the Lost Creek Cemetery, that's nearby. That there's all kinds of reports of ghostly things there as well. But this house has kind of been known for over 100 years as the area's old haunted house. So obviously quite a history of ghosts and events happening there. Now, some of the experiences that people have had there are mostly when this place was not being lived in. So in the early 70s, I think it was pretty much abandoned and wasn't lived in, or, nobody really fooled with it at all for like 30 years. 2006, some couple bought the house and renovated it. And there's some sightings associated with that as well. Now, before this renovation happened, people would go to the area 'cause, of course, haunted house. It's known as the area's haunted house. All the kids are going to dare each other to go, spend the night there or something like that. So there's been, several experiences reported of children, like the ghostly silhouettes of children walking through the locked iron gate and climbing up the nearby trees.
That's weird.
Around the house.
Seeing something like that go up the trees. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a ghost climb a tree. That would be new. And people claim to have seen in the windows of the home the ghost of a former caretaker. I didn't find a name about this former caretaker, but I guess there possibly could have been somebody who just came around and, kept an eye on the place while it was not in use, where it was abandoned for that 30 some years. Now, since I couldn't find a name associated with it, I'm going to assume that this is probably just all folklore, stuff made up by kids, maybe, of, supposedly this former caretaker murdered his wife. And, after he like went crazy and murdered her, and there was like blood stains on the windows. Sometimes you could still see the blood stains, things of that nature. But like I said, that could just be kids trying to scare each other,
Right.
type of stuff, because there's no information about a caretaker or any kind of murder happening at that house. Now, there's, of course, stories about, I said Norris Lake was a man made lake, so they flooded the area. So, of course, there's the stories of, the ghost towns beneath the lake, and there could be paranormal activity due to that, but who knows? Yeah, one of those towns was called Loyston, I think is how you say it. And, there's stories about voices and lights in the lake around the area where this Loyston used to be. So it sounds like this whole area might have some paranormal activity. Now, in the house, not much could be found until this restoration happened. And there was a story that a woman told about a red handprint appearing on the clay by the fireplace. She said she walked in and she was part of the crew that was doing restorations in this house. She walked in, she saw a man bent over with his hands on his knees, and his hands were black, like they were covered in soot.
Like a chimney sweep.
And she looked away, and when she looked back, he was gone, but the clay on the fireplace mantle area said there was a big red handprint right there where he had been standing. So I thought that was
Did it say if it was like a glowing handprint or just like a bloody
no,
handprint?
like it was red clay or something.
Okay.
And she went to get other people to confirm this, and of course they come back and there's nothing there. So obviously she had an experience, but then once again I can't find any other stories until some teenager who talked about him and his buddies doing a ghost hunt in this old house right before they restored it. This was off like a Reddit chain or something that I stumbled across.
Because you know Reddit's the truth.
That's the thing, I mean,
You do find leads though
yeah,
on
yeah,
Reddit.
yeah. We're all the time finding stuff, and like I said, it's a good place to find personal accounts because people will get on there and type out like this guy did.
Mm.
Type out their personal experience. Not to really make a big deal about it. It's just one of those things. You kind of stumble upon this
Yeah.
post, and you're like, "Oh, hey, I had an experience there too," and you just tell your story.
Right.
It could be made up. These people could be absolutely full of it, but what's the point? I mean, is it really that? Does it tickle your funny bone that much to make up a story under somebody's post about I saw a ghost there too? Just I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. But people rarely make sense. So he said, I've been there before when I was a teenager in high school with some friends, and everyone in Union County knew that old Owsley house was off limits. The new owners had fenced it off and nailed a no trespassing sign hanging crooked over the gate. We'd been watching ghost hunting videos and decided to make our own. This is how a lot of ghost hunting things seem to happen.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Let's do it.
Yeah, we're watching Ghost Adventures. Like, hey, we should do that. So basically, their little club here was just the four of them and EMF apps on our phones. I don't even think those things are for real because I'm pretty sure your phone can't detect EMF signals.
No.
So that kind of eliminates any evidence they might gather from their EMF apps on their phones. None of us imagined it would be possible, but just think if we actually caught something real. We went inside and the smell was awful. It was like old wood and mold. We spread out and looked around and noticed that someone had traced a handprint in dust right above the fireplace in the front parlor. So these guys saw a handprint traced in dust at this fireplace. And then I read that story about that woman claiming she saw a handprint on the fireplace. That's pretty cool. That matches up. We decided to sit down and start an EVP session. I set my phone on a beam and asked the usual dumb questions. Is anybody here? Can you tell us your name? We didn't hear anything. Sat in silence for a few minutes before one of the EMF apps spiked the little graph on the screen jumping to red. Upstairs, we heard 3 distinct thuds, like heavy footsteps. One of my friends said probably a raccoon. Raccoons don't usually make it sound like a thumping
No. You can just hear 'em,
footsteps.
like,
They're not that heavy. We climbed the staircase one step at a time, recording the whole way. At the top of the landing, we stopped. One of my friends said hello. I noticed the screen on my phone getting like static gray. The camera was still rolling, but flickering like an analog TV. Then I thought I heard faint breathing behind the door. That's creepy. I bolted down the stairs and my friends followed behind me. I don't know if they heard the same thing I did, but I was getting out of there.
I'm right there with you if I heard it too.
One of my friends dropped his phone on the way down. I grabbed it for him and shoved it in my pocket. We didn't stop running until we got to the car. The next morning, we decided to replay the evidence we'd recorded that night. I plugged my friend's phone into my laptop. The video played back fine until the part where the EMF spike happened. You could hear a man's voice whispering, "Still making bricks."
I wonder if he used people's ashes to make brick. Are we going that way? Did I ruin the story?
Huh?
I said, are we going that route? Did I ruin the story?
Going what route?
And they used people's ashes.
Well, I don't know.
make
I
brick.
mean, that very well could be. This is just, this guy with some of his friends go in there. They had some scary things happen to them,
Right.
and they run out and they actually caught something, apparently. Now, of course, he didn't say, right, here's the audio evidence or nothing. He claims that's what they caught. Somebody's saying, "Still making bricks." Here is the kind of cool part, and possibly lends to this being true. Apparently, they made their own bricks right there on site when they were building that house. The back side of that house, they had like a big kiln, all that stuff to fire bricks. And they made all their bricks right there on site when they built that house. So I'm wondering if maybe some of the people working there, because they said they used like slave labor and everything there. So maybe one of the old Africans that were being forced there to work might have died on the job. Maybe their spirit's still there.
Like I said, someone was burning people in that kiln and using, you know what I'm saying, them to make the bricks, and they built the house out of the bricks.
I mean, yeah, they were using slave labor.
Right.
They were viewed as kind of expendable, like animals or something. Who's to say they weren't throwing them in the kiln? Could be. I don't know. It's a very interesting story. It just, I don't know. It caught my attention for some reason, especially the name of the place, Sharp's Chapel. It just sounded like a haunted place. So, yeah. But that's my spooky story, is the Sharp House, or the Owsley House, whichever way you want to refer to it, in Sharp's Chapel, Tennessee, right off Norris Lake. And just adjacent, not very far down the road, is where Shade is going to take us.
It's around Cherokee Lake. This story comes from a family friend and
Listener.
Angela Dameron Short. So we've been talking over the weekend about this story and what she had sent me, and I'll post a picture of this on TikTok with what she had shared with me.
Yeah, it's a very cool picture, very compelling evidence.
She said that this was, so the photograph I'm talking about is a picture that her nephews had taken while they were riding four wheelers and motorcycles, and like where the tailwaters had drained over winter. This was in February.
So this isn't like in a structure or nothing. This
is outside.
Yeah,
and
they're just outside having
basically
fun.
No field where like the tailwaters usually
Right.
stand during the summer pool. But yeah, there's a little boy like in the blue standing in the muddy area, just taking pictures.
Yeah, he's got
there.
like a helmet on.
Yeah.
I guess they were riding ATVs or something.
And they just got out, I guess they had borrowed their mommy or maybe Mama's camera or something. They're just snapping pictures. I used to do that when I was little, playing around.
Oh, yeah.
But if you look to the left of the little boy, there's something there. A pale, upright figure shaped like a woman holding a child.
Yeah. Well, I can definitely say it is a figure, and yeah, it could definitely be female.
Yeah.
I just go with what I saw when I very first looked at the photo.
Right. Well, I mean, so if I look at it one way, I do see a lady holding a baby. And then you mentioned also, you're like, well, it looks like a younger child on an older type bicycle, like an old time bicycle.
Yeah, there's I mean, there's the obvious figure there, and you can kind of look at it different ways and see different things. But just when I very first looked at the photo, I saw the figure, but there was almost like this shadow outline of like a bicycle.
Right.
And it almost looked like, well, maybe this figure's holding up a bicycle, like they're wanting to ride too.
Right. That's kind of what I thought too. I was like, that's weird because they were riding.
Yeah. So yeah, I wondered if maybe it's a kid's spirit that was wanting to play or something.
So here's the story. This happened in the late 1800s. Rain had been pouring down the valley for 3 days straight. and this was called Poor Valley Creek. It was nearly knee deep and gentle, but it is, now roaring because of all this rain, swollen with red clay and fallen limbs.
Oh yeah.
A small wagon crests the ridge, drawn by two tired horses. Inside, a young mother sits with her infant wrapped tight in a patchwork quilt. She's heading for kinfolk down the valley, hoping to beat the storm. The road narrows near the crossing, and mud thick as syrup. The horses hesitate, or hooves sliding. The driver, maybe her husband or a close neighbor or relative, climbs down to guide them through. One wheel catches the rut, then another, and then the wagon tips and the creek swallows it whole, trapping the mother and the infant underneath.
Oh boy.
When the family finally reaches her, it's too late. The current carried both mama and the baby downstream, and the bodies were never found. And that's the story the locals tell. It's like a simple accident, except years later, people walking the same trail or, playing in that area. So they have seen the woman in like pictures or in when fall grows in
Yeah.
or like, the waist deep water. But it mostly happens like when the tailwaters have drained out for the winter.
Yeah.
You can see it there.
So this is like a persistent ghost. Like
Mhm.
a lot of people have seen this.
Mhm.
Wow.
So even before the lake flooded, the story says that it had a reputation. Travelers would hurry their horses across and whisper prayers underneath their breath, just to try to get across because it wasn't safe. But before the dam, Cherokee Lake was a reservoir also created by man.
Yeah.
Poor Valley wasn't poor in beauty; it was poor because it flooded a lot. Every spring, the water came up and washed away fences, chickens, and sometimes lives and livestock. The valley sits in what folks call the Ridge and Valley Province, long, narrow folds of land between the mountains. And those low spots become natural highways for people moving west. And then the Cherokees walked those same hollows as well centuries ago before wagons ever rode through. And the Warrior Pass ran along the Holstein River just a stone throw away from here. And then later, settlers turned that path into a wagon road that stretched from Bean Station to Rogersville. But these weren't the kind of roads you'd want to travel alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were steep and they were rutted, often
And
just too deep,
dangerous.
deep tracks of mud that cut through the woods. And then when the rain came, it turned into rivers. And family used them to head toward new farms, marriages, and funerals because there really wasn't no other way to travel besides the creek or the rivers. And so, by the 1930s, the Tennessee Valley Authority showed up with big plans for that area
Yeah.
because of all of this. And then they built the Cherokee Dam and flooded the valley in 1941. And then the whole community kind of vanished under the water, homes, bridges, churches, and even a few cemeteries. And some graves were moved, others weren't, though, because, like Old Timer said, they didn't just flood the land, they flooded their memories. And then, maybe that's why there's ghosts that still cling tight to that shoreline area. So,
Yeah. Could be. I know that photo is very compelling. It's
mhm.
I mean it's obviously a person.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, you can speculate on the
what you
whether it's
see.
a woman holding a baby or whatever, but there's definitely something there. They caught something in that photo, just a moment of just,
And
happiness
she said
and
when the boys, had these photos printed and they seen that, like they were just excited. They're like, "Oh my gosh, look what we got!"
yeah.
So
Yeah, I would be too.
yeah,
That's amazing.
but yeah, here we are, like 80 years later, and the water's down again, and then this family, as well, the kids are out there playing, and it's kind of like exposed itself like puzzle pieces, and they're laughing. You know, there it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, but then you have people that speculate and saying, well, it was just the sunlight just catching the mud just right and making that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
this
no.
is no, this
No.
is very detailed.
Yeah.
This is a really good
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it looks like a person. It is obviously a figure,
apparition.
and it's all white, so you don't really see any kind of
Mhm.
definition of facial features or anything like that. But it is obviously a figure, a human-like
Yeah,
figure standing there.
but
That's awesome.
whether anybody else believes it or not, this is something this family can pass on for generations to come, like a story.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of cool.
just like all the experiences we've had.
Mhm.
We've told our kids about those. I'm sure they're going to have many of their own because there are strange things in this world that we can't explain. That's why we get on here and talk about these things, because we like to discuss those and try to figure out, at least for ourselves, what they might possibly be.
So, but there is that small story, but it also makes me wonder. And I know this one kind of has something to do with the Smoky Mountains, but it's been known in Appalachia as well. It's called the Spearfinger. It's a
Yeah.
legend of the Cherokee witch, and she can kind of morph into children or say like a woman in distress, things like that, and supposedly like eats kids' livers or something other, and her
Yeah.
exposing herself to those children
Yeah, that's
and can cause illness and things. I know the lady that contacted me, Angela, said that one of the boys had diabetes.
oh
I don't
yeah.
know if that was something that happened after seeing this figure or was currently going on, or
Yeah.
kind of odd. That makes you wonder.
Yeah, the Spearfinger that's Cherokee. So, I mean, Cherokee Lake, obviously. There was a lot of Cherokee there. And yeah, it's this Cherokee witch.
Yeah, she's a fearsome witch with skin as hard as stone. They say that she can turn to stone or
Yeah.
like morph into, different things.
Yeah, and she stalked the mountains looking for children all along Tennessee and North Carolina.
Yeah. She lured unexpected children they didn't know. And these kids probably had never heard of her. I would say that they weren't expecting something like that. So,
Yeah, definitely
I
not.
mean, I'm going to have my speculations.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Indian folklore around that area because, like I said, the Cherokee were a very heavy presence in that area,
Mm-hmm.
and actually, there is a legend about a Cherokee war chief
Mm-hmm.
named Dragging Canoe
Okay.
that supposedly placed a curse on the stolen lands along the Tennessee River area. So, like all those rivers that converge down through there,
Mm-hmm.
and those very rivers they dammed up to make these lakes and stuff. Supposedly, Dragging Canoe, Cherokee war chief, put a curse on that land.
And I think all of Kentucky is supposed to be cursed as well.
Yeah, that was
As
their
it,
sacred hunting ground,
mm-hmm.
and then the white man came in and started
Mm-hmm.
taking it over. They
Yeah.
didn't have their sacred hunting ground anymore. So yeah, they probably did curse the land, get more difficult for the white man.
So I believe that, they probably did curse the area.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stories from down in that area.
A lot of
Yeah.
paranormal activity.
I got interested in that area because of this photo, and I was like, well, I'm going to look around for some more stuff in that area. And I ran across the Sharps Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a neat little story with a few little first person accounts. But I mean, there's mentions in a bunch of places of odd phenomenon in those lakes there of East Tennessee. Something like mysterious and strange about them. People see lights and hear strange noises uh, all around these lakes, Norris Lake and Cherokee Lake.
But to talk about the Spearfinger lady, that's going to take like probably a whole episode.
Oh, yeah. Is that big of a
It's a big
story?
story. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I
Kind
didn't look
of.
that deep into it. I just
Yeah.
knew kind of that
It's
surface
kind of like
information.
the Blair Witch per se, or
Blair
Bell
Witch.
Witch. The
Oh,
Bell
yeah, the
Witch.
Bell
Kind of
Witch.
the witch. Yeah.
Oh, man. Should definitely talk about Bell Witch sometime.
Mhm.
That's a wild, crazy
Yeah.
story.
I have a witch episode next.
Yeah.
Maybe do
Yeah,
that
you
next
have two
Monday. There you go.
mean old hags from back in the mountains.
Now you're gonna know what next week's episode.
Yeah, possibly. There's a lot of rich, ghostly, supernatural activity, especially in that area of Tennessee. And of course, that's right along the Appalachian Mountains. So
Yeah.
there you go. Haunted Appalachia. That's what we're all about.
Mhm.
Stuff we like to discuss here on Appalachia Not So Quiet. And we'd like to thank that special listener
Angela Short.
for sending in that spooky picture.
Yeah, we're gonna share that on TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna put that on our TikTok and on our Facebook so everybody can see that and leave us a comment.
Let us know what you see.
Yeah, tell us what you see because, like I said, my first look at it, I saw kind of this strange bicycle silhouette there. So it kind of looked like maybe a kid there with a bicycle. But then they said we thought it was a woman holding a baby. After I looked at it from, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean you
Okay.
could see it both ways.
Yeah. It's a very cool picture, so be sure to check that out. Like, comment, and share. of course. Like I said, let us know what you think you see in the photo. And make sure to keep coming back and listening because we're getting close to another milestone. Those listens keep racking up.
And we're going to do another giveaway as soon as
Yeah.
we get there.
We get to that magic number, 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
1,000 listens. Man, that would be incredible. Because we're about 1,200 somewhere in there.
No, we're almost 1,400.
We're almost 1,400 now.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh, that's right. Yeah, on the last episode, I talked about us being almost at 13. So yeah, we're almost at 14 now. That's pretty awesome. So thanks to all of you out there who have been listening and supporting us. Keep coming back. Like I said, like, share, comment, give us some ideas. Just like this friend of ours, this listener, sent us the photo. We'll do that with just about anybody. We'll take your picture, your story behind it, and we'll present it, and we'll try to dig up any information we can find about maybe what you may have caught.
Or if you want to come on and talk about it.
Yeah, we can do guests now.
You don't even have to leave your home. So
yeah, we can set you up.
Yeah,
just join right in with us. We need to have more people come on and tell their stories. I'm not good at telling other people's stories. I can barely tell my own stories. We could keep going, but we'll stop while we're ahead.
Yeah. Save some for next time.
Yeah, that's right. So come back with us next time and listen to us on all your streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, and all of our social media.
Yeah, like, follow, and share on there. Our Facebook, we have TikTok, and we have an X account as well.
You'll be seeing these pictures.
Yeah, we'll share the link for this episode and a link for the pictures for our TikTok.
Yeah.
So you can check those out.
Yeah, be sure to go check those out. And come right back for the next episode of Appalachia Not So Quiet. I am your host, Hillbilly Phantom.
And I'm Appalachian Shade.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Till then, watch out for them boogers.